Warning, spoilies ahead.
You are in California. You could go out into the sun.
Nope,
No,
not happening.
it's fine.
Just
It's
a
your
pale individual.
it's your signature look at this point
Yeah, I'm just
anyway.
the pale guy.
So if you change it, and then everyone's gonna think that I got that like that you replaced yourself with some like knockoff,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna get the respect that we know and love at this
Yeah.
point.
Bring
in
back the pale Dylan.
two guys, one film history, because
Yeah.
we get so much respect and love.
Hi, welcome to Two Guys, One Film. I'm Dylan,
And I'm Dane.
and this week we watched Mannequin on the Move, directed by Stuart Raphael. There's a lot of writers, so hang on, buckle up, people. Edward Rugoff, David Isaacs, Ken Levine, Betsy Israel, and based off the characters from Edward Rugoff and Michael Gottlieb from the first
Okay.
Mannequin. So
All right.
based off characters, the first Mannequin, because this is Mannequin on the Move, not called Mannequin 2 on the Move. It's just Mannequin on the Move.
Mannequin
So,
on the two.
Mannequin on the
move.
Tube. I on the Tube.
Really? No, because I could have sworn it said Mannequin 2 on the
No,
move.
it's Mannequin on the Move. It's like that's what it's like labeled as, I think, in something, but it's actually supposed to just be Mannequin on the Move.
Mannequin on the move. So,
Yeah.
well, I guess
We don't say
it's
Mannequin
not like
2 in this house.
technically it's not like a sequel to the original like
No, it's just like
Mannequin.
it's like a different Mannequin story. But
Yeah.
anyway, quick thing. It goes back 1,000 years ago. There's this prince that's in love with a peasant girl. Mom disapproves. She gets a sorcerer wizard to put a spell on her and a necklace that she has to wait 1,000 years until she finds true love, and she could be not a mannequin statue. Instead of just a regular statue, they decided to turn her into a plastic statue.
Well, I don't know. They refer to her as being wooden as well.
I guess, yeah. I
Maybe
guess
she's
because
made of
mannequins are
wood.
pretty wood. You know, they're pretty woody.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then cut to 1,000 years later, we're in Philadelphia. We got this guy lives with his mom. He's just getting a job at a department store because the first one took place in a department store. So now this one also has to take place in a department store. It didn't have to, but
Well, it's the same department store.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a different one. I don't remember. For some reason, I remember it taking place in New York in the first one, but I guess Hollywood was in the first one.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Okay. Hollywood's the best character, by the way.
Okay. I feel like you and I talked about this. Like, man, remember how Hollywood is like the best character at Mannequin? Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
cool if Hollywood was like more prominent in the movie and like,
Boom.
totally
And
got
they delivered.
Yes. Oh my God.
I think probably because everyone said the same thing. Probably like, man, Hollywood was the best part. And they're like, you want more Hollywood? You got it.
And boy, did we get it. But he's
And I
awesome,
like-
so that was cool.
I like the first Mannequin, but I like this one more because the first one was very creepy of like, he's always banging her and then he's always getting caught with the mannequin in that moment. Like there's always that
post-
security guard. So it's like post or like in a tent and he's like half naked. So like there was a lot of like the sex stuff in the first one and she'd always like turn wooden. So like I like how they kind of played on it where he was just like laying on the bed with her like freaking out and then his mom comes in.
But it would
She's
still be
in
weird
love
to
with
come
the
in
doll.
and find your kid like on a mat. I'd be
Just
like,
completely
shut the
over it.
door, man.
Yeah.
Like,
But yeah, the first one was always like it's a little pervy with like
yeah, it's
how
a
much
bit
he
more.
bangs
It's
her and
it's
like,
definitely a bit more sexual.
yeah.
Than the
And this one's
second
more
one.
like a rom-com, which
Yeah.
is good.
It's
But yeah,
goofy.
the guy's like Harry Mole too, which that guy was Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's and Weekend at Bernie's too. And the guy from Andrew McCarthy from Weekend at Bernie's was in Mannequin 1, so it's like it's
Wow.
cyclical. It all comes
Wow.
back to Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
It'd have been better if Jason, the main character, was played by the other guy from Weekend at Bernie's. It could be in the Weekend at Bernie's universe.
That'd be cool. But then like, well, so like the weekend at Bernie's, like Bernie gets to
The
be like,
Burniverse,
yeah.
the
Man,
Burniverse of madness, and it's a bunch
so
of multiversal.
mannequin exists in the Berniverse.
Yeah, the Bernieverse. Because that's why there's so much magic. Like that's why mannequins keep happening.
Well, yeah, because
Because
that's what I'm
in
saying. I'm like, so in this universe, like magic is like real,
real, yeah, because
but
like
I
the
guess
first
people
girl gets
forgot.
cursed too. And then like in Weekend at Bernie's, those voodoo guys put a spell on him to every time he hears music, he walks towards the treasure. So magic is real in the Burniverse.
Yeah,
So
man, I like it's in its
I'm loving the Burniverse.
like. So, do you think that the Berniverse would be like forever trapped in like a 1980s, like
I think they're always in the 90s.
or was
Like
in the
it's just
90s, like a like early 90s?
like this is 91. So and I
Oh, that's
think
right. Yeah.
Bernie's was like 90 around the same time. But
So yeah, are they trapped there, or is it just they have like futuristic late 90s or early 90s?
I don't know. We'll have to travel to the Burniverse to find out. But until then, we'll get back to Mannequin
Oh my
on the
God.
move. So he drives that Jeep. He works for his mom, who like has the dating service thing, like the tapes. And so he's like going to pull in that spot. He totally could have just pulled in instead of doing the back in.
Yeah.
You know, because he's in a Jeep. It's a wide spot. The turn radius thing that's pretty tight. So I don't know why he didn't just pull in. He had to do the back end. But he pulls a Riggs from Lethal Weapon, and he just puts that sign over the fucking like fire hydrant. I was like,
Yep.
what if there's a fire? That's
And I like how that old lady's like standing there too, and I'm thinking like
she
just
does
like
like that
stand there waiting
tisk,
for
tisk.
people.
It's like fuck you, lady. Because yeah, Riggs did it in Lethal Weapon. He put the paper bag over the meter, so it looks like it was broken. I was like, he's a cop. He could do what he wants.
Well, this guy just
then
works at a
we
department store. That was
Yeah,
like
dude,
that was
he just started a job.
What if there's a fire, man?
Yeah.
Because that was a fire hydrant.
For being a very logical dude, he didn't think about the fire hazard part of it.
And he's like, I'll advertise for my mom. It's cool. And like, what are you gonna say when a cop like goes, wait a minute, and like looks under there? Oh, it's just
That's not mine.
how'd that get there?
I don't. I doubt a cop's gonna be like, "Hey, wait a minute, there was a fire hydrant here a minute
Right.
ago." It's like, they don't give a shit. It's Philadelphia. There's a shoot. Like Hollywood says in the later, "I'm from Philadelphia. Guns don't scare me." So I think a sign over a fire hydrant's a cop's
Yeah.
least concern in 1991 Philadelphia.
Probably.
So then we're introduced to the manager of the store, and he smells dust, and he's got those two like ginger assistants that always write down what he says. Like, I smell dust. Just the way he like does it too.
His yes men, which is
Yeah, his yes men. Anytime he like makes a rhyme, they just like write it down and finish it for him.
Well, that's what makes this movie like so like almost cartoony.
Yeah, I think that's what another reason I love it is like it doesn't take itself seriously. It's just a fun time. And like yeah, it's like got like cartoony aspects. Like we just repeat you say, we just repeat you say, and then like I don't know, the magic, and then Hollywood. He's just and he's
And
putting on when he's putting on that play, and I like how when the curtain's coming down, the boss says something creepy like, "Why won't you let me see it?" It's like, you want to see what I got? Huh?
You want
You
to
want to see what Hollywood's got?
Yeah.
I've seen all Hollywoods, all sizes.
You're seeing this
You
Hollywood
seen this Hollywood? My favorite glasses is the ones that he first has with the scissors.
with the scissors.
That's so fucking cool. Like, ugh. I think they need to release a Hollywood sunglasses line because he even had good ones in the first one.
Yeah.
So I feel like they need to do a Hollywood line, and I would buy all of those sunglasses because I want to be like Hollywood. I haven't seen it a bit, and I watched it, and this movie like made me genuinely laugh out loud, like many times. I was like, "Oh, that was actually really funny!" Like I laughed out loud. Like one line I want to talk about now, just because it was great. I'm gonna forget it. Was like Hollywood's busting Jason out, or no, it was when he's getting shot at by the crossbow. And he's like, "You were in the Marines?" He's like, "Yeah, they were looking for a few good men, and so was I." And I was like, "Oh, nice Hollywood."
Yeah. That was good.
And the Rick Moranis wannabe guard of the
With his
center.
hairspray.
And he's like, and he's all slicked. He's got a hairspray. It looks like they wanted Rick Moranis, but they're like, we can't afford Rick Moranis, so
Yeah.
we'll get somebody else.
I was I skipped some of my notes like right in the beginning when he's driving to work. He's like barely paying attention to the road like
Dude,
most of
he's
the
like
time.
getting ready,
I'm
he's getting
like
his tie on, and
I'm
like,
watching, I'm like, man, he's like just not look, he's just like for a while too, just
and my favorite too is when he's like eating cereal and pouring milk in his mouth. And then he just throws that bottle and it lands perfectly in that can. I was like, nice. But like, yeah, it's just like zero regard. Gotta get to my new job. I'm driving a Jeep. They've got the best alignment. This thing is not going to veer off the road at all.
never.
Like, it just reminds me of that bit from Strange Brew, and they're talking about like, hey, you ever notice in movies that they don't really look at the road while they drive? And it's like, yeah, because like they're like being pulled by a truck, and they just like look at each other for a really long time. Like, whoa, whoa. That's like what this like every movie does it. Like they're
Yeah.
all guilty of like they're obviously being pulled. So like we're gonna
Yeah.
have really long dialogue and then suddenly back to driving.
I want in a movie for like if there's like two people having dialogue in a car and someone keeps doing that, it's like, will you quit
Look
just
at the road.
staring at me?
Look at the road. Look at the road. Like yeah.
Like then I'd feel a little bit more like, wow, they're driving around, driving around. This his co-pilot's like, look at the road, man.
So the department store is holding a big thing for the magic peasant girl. Because why not throw it at like a Macy's? You know,
Right? And
like it's
but
whatever.
like so
You don't need to think about that. You know, we just had
you
to
know,
get
but
her
and
there.
then I am thinking about it, and I'm like, well, so like when then they start talking about like why they're like he's there, and he's like, oh well, I want tourism and stuff, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
but like the whole plan of like getting with her, I guess, and then going to Bermuda,
Well, that's that way he
like
doesn't have to go back to his shit always raining country. You know.
yeah, but then I'm like, well, I mean, that seems like a really big plan
He's
to go
been
all the way to
waiting
the
a
United
thousand
States.
years.
You know, like
Probably, you know, I guess it's the Bermuda's closer than his country, and I guess he can just. I don't know if he's planning to rip these people off or sell the jewels. I don't know. You don't need to know the bad guy's plan. Just have fun. She turns to life,
if when
and
you
he's got weird German hilarious henchmen that have like the very beer fest vibes to me,
yes.
and like
I felt like the guys of Beer Fest like almost straight ripped them
probably
off. Like,
like a scene. So yeah, yeah, like the truck is like jackknife over the bridge, and they're like, "We have to get her," and like they're wearing like the German hats because they're German or whatever.
yeah,
They're made up country that they're from, and you know, she falls in the water. Jason jumps in, and it's magically the clearest water of any river, and you know saves her. But when they steal the peasant girl, and I love how the German guys are like, we know how to get a ride, and they instantly start getting naked and like doing
like
those
and
like fucking
dancing, and I'm
great
like,
dances.
I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like that. I thought to myself like, so in like 90 something, like in whatever country you are, that's how you would get someone to pull over and give you a
Well, that's
ride.
probably what they think America likes. They're like, Americans like this stuff, and they're like,
They like
yeah,
jacked dudes. Well, I mean, it worked,
yeah, and
but
then
then
they
they got
got
thrown in the
dumped.
trash.
Like I don't know why like that made me laugh just how quickly they thought of okay yeah and then they just started like I know how to do it and like guy's got his pants down and like the other guy
Yeah, like
and then the outfits they get later too of like the tiny tank tops and like
yeah,
the
I'm like,
ant
oh my
bands
god,
around their
this
arms like they're very like used like getting new to the Western culture,
yeah.
you know, they're like ooh yeah they have spandex and ooh the hats when they're all trying them on.
I like when they're like when the mannequin falls into the water and what's his name just and those guys are like hanging from that rope and he's like, "Oh, I'll
Yeah,
save you." And he just jumps in and saves
yeah,
her and I'm like why would you
those
yell
guys they
that
could.
out to that? And then like
That's
how
what
would
I
you feel about the dudes like just being hanging there and being like, "He said I'll save you." So he was talking to the mannequin?
yeah. Well, you know, you guys can handle it. She's a mannequin.
Yeah.
I thought about that too. Like anybody who yells, "I'll save you," I'm like, I'm already in the water. I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Just come here.
That
Just
and
come here.
like are you talking to the living like the live people hanging from the rope?
Yeah.
Because
Like,
in that
who are we talking
situation, if
to?
I was there, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna save them," and he
He's
goes in the
got
water.
us.
I'd be like,
Whoa, whoa,
"What
whoa,
is
whoa.
going on?"
They bring her back to the department store. The creepy guy the shows up on his plane and it's fucking hairy mole. It's like all the way down there.
Yeah.
And
Why would you keep that if you like
I
know
don't
that
know,
you're
man.
like
It's like, and
you're
the
like
way he like,
you're like stroking it and stuff?
it's like he likes it, and I just like they did that like Austin Powers joke,
Yeah.
which I guess Austin Powers ripped this off.
Yeah.
But like when they kept saying like mole, I mean like yeah, like that was it was fucking great. He's like, I can put some African beads in that if you really want. He's like fucking twirling it around. But oh no, before they show up, Jason's in the back room, and then he like takes off her necklace. The necklace is the thing that makes her into a mannequin, but only I guess at first her true love was only able to take it off because before he got shocked. Whatever.
Yeah.
You don't need to know those details. But she comes to life, and then they start like hanging out. Obviously, my favorite thing he said. This is how like like logical this dude is. He goes like, oh, we're gonna have to like get you a place to stay so you can have an address for a green card. I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, yeah,
I
she
know.
doesn't like have any identification. I
Like,
was like, man, this guy's thinking ahead. He's like, oh, we gotta get you a
all
green
right.
card. I'm like, oh shit, dude.
Well, okay. Yeah. All right. So, and I'm also thinking like she also needs to go and get vaccinated like right now
She's gonna
because
die of a lot of disease.
yeah, like it'll kill her. Like the 20th century will kill her.
Well, maybe being a mannequin throughout the thousands of years, you know, still built up an immunity because like her body in a way is still present, or maybe it's like made her super immune because she's had this magic around her the whole time, or it's given her a weak immune system because for 1,000 years she hasn't gotten a cold or anything. You know?
Yeah, that's what I'm
It immediately
saying.
comes
That's
out and
yeah, like somebody sneezes next to her and that's it.
do you think that like she smelled too? Like, do you think because she's been a dusty old mannequin for like 1,000 years?
See, I thought that
Like, I know
too.
it's not real skin, but like when she turned real, she's gonna be like, "Wow, why do I smell so weird? Like, I smell like a river,
But
and I
then
smell
again,
like
like she might not notice it because she's from 1,000 years ago and like talks
yeah,
about eating possum and stuff.
yeah, boiled weasel and like yak's milk and all that shit."
Yeah.
So maybe it's normal for her.
And I felt bad like when she had to use the bathroom.
Yeah,
I was like, did she ever get to go?
that's what I thought was like. What's another Austin Powers moment is like, is she gonna like pee for like 20 minutes straight? Because it's like I've been holding, but like, does it matter? Because for her it was like 10 seconds
I know, but then she
ago.
just goes and puts lipstick
Makeup
on and
on.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Like I
And
don't
then
know how
I'm
she
like,
knew
well,
how
did
to use
she
an indoor toilet. You know.
like did she go and the and
I think we're thinking of the wrong details. I wonder if she went to the bathroom.
yeah, because I'm like, where is she gonna go? Because he just goes, she goes like, oh, I need to go like, she just like she needs to go behind the trees or
Yeah,
something.
or like, yeah.
And he's just like, oh, go through this door. And I mean, like, she's never seen anything like that.
You've never
So
seen indoor plumbing, so I guess just look at what everybody else is doing.
yeah, oh, let me just peek over the stall here or what's
Yeah.
going on,
But immediately distracted by lipstick.
and then
I like
pees
how,
all over
like,
herself.
instantly she's, like, really good at understanding the new universe. She goes, oh, the little white walk guy means you can walk across the road? Yeah, I love the 20th century. And I was like, man, she's got that down pretty
I love
fast.
America.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah. In my recollection as a child, they went and got burritos and not Philly cheese sandwiches.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why in my mind I thought it was burritos because like when I was a kid, it looked like a burrito. They were like the way they were eating it,
Uh-huh.
and so it was like a Mandela effect for me when I watched this recently. I'm like, wait, they weren't burritos? Oh, I could have sworn they're burritos. They made those burritos look so delicious, and I was
Well,
wrong.
this is the first time I've seen this movie, so I was going into it new.
You didn't know about the burrito scene turning into a Philly cheesesteak scene.
No, it was always a
Yeah.
Philly cheesesteak, and then she eats the paper, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so adorable.
I like that it's crunchy, you don't have to eat it, but it's good. And then she just keeps eating
I
the
know.
paper. When the
And then they go to that club after that, yeah.
I like how yeah, the actor playing Hollywood is also the bouncer of the
Oh, yeah.
club. Like that was his prom night. Get out of here! Like, kicks those kids out.
And they're breaking it down in there too. Well, at least he
Yeah.
is.
Dude, yeah, like Jason like immediately starts dancing of like boom, boom, and he's got like he doesn't care if he's good or not. It's the 90s. Nobody's good at dancing.
Yeah.
Just like instantly like fucking going to town. I'm like, hit it, buddy, get
I know.
on,
I was
buddy.
like, oh yeah, break it down, dude.
And
Shit.
then like they start doing like the old classical medieval
And
dancing.
then
Like when people are looking
everybody
around,
knows.
they're like, oh, and they're like dancing with them.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
then
it's like a magical.
they all start doing it. Like, how do you guys know the
You're
dance?
just watching them. Well, they kind of just like spin around and do like over exaggerated movements of it. But like once again, a magical moment where like everybody and people around them in a club just stop and they hear different music, and I was like, oh wow, I will dance too.
Yo, DJ, drop that.
Drop that medieval. Drop me some loot, dude.
Yeah, that medieval core. Drop.
There's a line before they go dance, and the lady's like, we couldn't. The bartender didn't have Yak's milk, so we got you a Diet Pepsi. And Jason's like, no, it's good. It's got no calories, no sugar, no caffeine. She's like, oh, we had something like that where I was from. It's called water. And I was like, this is easier to find. I like what he tells her.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, seriously, that dancing dude, fucking guy just goes for
I
it.
know.
Like he's like not trying so hard to impress her, which is nice. He's not like going over the top.
Yeah.
Like when she's like, "Are you betrothed to anybody?" He's like, "I am." She's right here, and it's like the horse that he's
Yeah.
like talking to. I was like, "This guy's fucking smooth. He's not even trying to be, and he's fucking smooth."
He's having a good time with it.
I mean, when
Also,
you,
he might just think that he's just going nuts too. I mean,
yeah, just roll with it, dude. If you're like, she's alive, I think. If she's not,
I was
I'm
hanging
taking
out
her.
in a department store. This mannequin came to life. She happens to be hot as a real woman, and she wants to hang out with me.
She says immediately that she's in love with me. Let's go get burritos. Philly
cheesesteaks.
cheesesteak sandwiches, and fucking hit the clubs, dude.
Yeah, dude, and I'm gonna tear it up because I think I might be hallucinating.
Yeah. She got us into the most popular club just by walking by and being beautiful. All right, just keep going with it. Just going wherever the night takes him.
Really, it's a movie about him slipping, falling, hitting his head
Yeah.
in that closet with her, and
Yeah, he's still in that cage backstage, just like big pile of blood with like newspaper stuck to it. Hollywood's gonna come up. He's like, "Is she still alive?" And he's like, "No, you're barely alive. What are you talking about? The mannequin, is she alive?
Not this again.
Is Jesse here?" Which, fast forward, quick bit before we continue. I love the fact that since Hollywood had gone through the previous Mannequin movie, how he's like, I know it's gonna sound crazy, but you know, she comes to life and everything like that. And I was like, no, I know what you mean. I believe you. And I was like, nice. I've been through this before.
And you're like, whoa, man! It is Hollywood, and they are from the same universe. Whoa.
She's like taking a bath. She kept like putting so much soap in front of her eyes. I'm like, and her mouth was open. I'm like, that's gonna taste so bad, and that's gonna burn your eyes. You're gonna learn real quick how bad soap burns.
Well, that's how you learn, and how bad it tastes.
It's not Johnson and Johnson's tear free. You know,
Tear free.
it's a debate because it also means that. It also
Tear.
means like it won't like break your hair and stuff like that. It's tear free or tear free. It's one of those either or either.
Tear and tear.
Yeah.
You won't
Either or
you
either
won't tear up,
pronunciation.
it won't tear your flesh.
Johnson and Johnson brings her home at night. She's bathing. Once again, why this movie's nice is he didn't like bang her. They didn't have a gross. I mean, and he said he didn't when his mom's like, "Oh, you have someone in your room? Did you sleep with her?" He's like, "I slept on the couch." And I was like, "What a gentleman." I already had a weird enough night, Mom. I'm not gonna try to bang a mannequin. I just she says she's in love with me, but like I don't even know if she's real. So
Yeah, I don't even know if I had that night. And man, it would freak me out to walk in and then have her be
she's like,
I'd be like,
yeah.
"Oh my God."
I dressed her up. I put makeup on her. I just took her out of the bath. I just made her the most disgusting looking breakfast. He put sausages in the toaster.
I know
And the way he beat the eggs was like throw them up into the strainer, catches them, not even over the pot, so they're already getting on the floor, and then proceeds to grind them like a mortar and pestle
and like that's
into.
not how you crack eggs. I know it was gross. I'm like, dude, there's no way there's not shell in that.
It
Yuck.
just goes to show he doesn't know how to cook, but he's confident enough. He's like, hey, whatever, my mommy does all the cooking. And then finds her still a doll.
Yep.
His mom comes up, and I like how he's like trying to give her CPR a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
that's how it works. He's like, he's trying, dude.
Like, well, you know, what would you do? I don't know in that situation. I'd be like, all right, I'm losing my shit.
Yeah.
Should I tell somebody or should I just go to work and see
I
and
think I just keep it quiet. Like,
this day goes okay and I don't take
oh yeah, we
the
forgot about
mannequin.
that bit where his boss is at his mom's place doing a dating service video.
Oh, that's right.
And then they come in and he sees it's his like him and he's like trying to hide his face, and when he leaves he's like tearing that tape apart and
Like
everything.
smashing against the wall. I'm like,
How he's like kind of like sucking up to him the next day when like Jason brings her back and she's like in the modern day clothes. He's like, oh, it's a great idea. He's like, I always thought of you like the son I never had or the one I don't want. And he like gives him the little flower and stuff. And it's like,
okay.
please don't remember me at your home. I think this is when Hollywood puts on her necklace, which I like. When he takes it off, she like says something and then she goes back to being a mannequin just to like fuck with Hollywood.
Yeah.
But then he puts it on, he turns into a mannequin. I'm like, oh, that's how the magic works. Oh, see, a magic necklace.
I'm like, man, I thought that was a pretty cool idea. I liked that. I liked the
Yeah.
magic necklace part. I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
man. So if it gets on somebody else, it turns them.
To
I'm like, that's
yeah.
pretty sick.
Which makes me wonder, is like they had to either find or make a mannequin that closely resembled Christy Swanson, which also means they had to get one that looked like the actor who played Hollywood.
I
And
bet you they.
also, spoiler alert, like the guy at the end with the mole, they had to get one to make it look like him too.
I feel like they probably had some custom ones made.
Yeah.
Because
Which do you think they still have those? Like, did they let those actors keep them? Because I definitely would have asked them, like, can I keep my mannequin? Like, I want to keep that in
would
my
be
home and
so
freak the fuck.
cool. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know, if there's anybody out there that knows like fun movie stuff like that and knows that,
Does anybody who collects movie memorabilia have any of these mannequins? Please let us know.
yes.
I
Even
don't
if
wanna
they're like
buy it.
super beat up, I just want to see it.
I just want to know. Because the Counts one is like all,
I know.
like, ears all fucking glued and shit like that. But so then she goes on a shopping spree because she has his badge.
Yeah.
And the couch guy, I love that when she's like, oh, he's like, this would be great in your home. She's like, oh, I don't have a home. She's like, well, it's nice talking to you. And then like immediately interested again. She's like, oh, but Jason was like, but I don't know how long I have left to live. He's like, okay, whatever.
Cool. Just buy a bunch of shit.
Yeah, we can have it delivered today, and who knows, you might still be alive. Which, like, I guess I'll get to that later. I have it written in my notes. But that's when the three lugheads see that she's gone, and they go to tell the Count.
Yeah.
And that's when the goofy Benny Hill chase commences. And he's getting shot out with the crossbow, and I love when that lady's walking by, and Hollywood's like, "Honey, get down." She's like, "Get down."
Yeah. That was awesome. I was like, oh
fucking
yeah.
Get down. And then yeah, that's where the Marines line came from too. Like, oh God, get down, honey, get down.
I'm like, and no one is like cares that this guy's shooting a crossbow.
Dude, like, and then throwing pots. Like,
Again,
nobody really.
this is where that like cartoony thing like comes in for me, where I'm like, oh, it's like a Tom and Jerry episode where
Yeah.
like there's stuff going on, but nobody else gives a shit.
And like the cops are so like, they're like obviously like trying, but not trying too hard, and it was like not serious repercussions, you know. But
Was
it's,
this like is this
cartoony
after
cops.
he's gotten arrested or before?
It's before, so like this is the whole chase sequence. Which when he throws that pot, that's like a good shot because it hits him in like the butt and the balls, dude. I was like, damn, that must have fucking hurt. Perfect shot. I was like, ha.
Oh fuck!
And it was like real too because they kept breaking them. They would shatter. I was like, I'm sure they were like, you know, thinly made, but like, that's
Yeah,
a good
but
fucking
still.
shot, dude. Like right in the balls, man. But yeah, that's like, that's when the chase is, and they're chasing him, and she gets that little go-kart,
Oh yeah.
and he jumps on it, and police are just like doing this stand there by the door, you know.
I'm like, because that'll work.
I
Works
do like
every
how
time in the movies.
the henchmen keep knocking over the mannequins in that shoe section. Like they first go through and knock it over, and then they come through again and they knock them over again. And like those people are just like, God damn it, dude! Like, you don't work retail, you don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like, fucking Christ, I just set those up.
Because that kind of shit happens.
Yeah.
You set something up, and then somebody comes over and they knock it over, and they like look directly at you, and then just pile it, and then like kind of scoop it to the side,
Yep.
and you're like, "It's cool, I got it."
A bit I liked was when she was going around the department store and the perfume lady that was like wanting Jason at the beginning of the movie, and she was like, she gives her that spray. She's like, "Oh, this reminds me of my friend. Like, what happened to her? Oh, she was like attacked by boars." I was
She was
like,
eaten
"Oh
by a
God,
boar,
bitten
a
by a
wild
boar."
boar.
Oh yeah, he let me sleep in his bed last night. It's like, how was it? He showed me stuff I've never seen before. She's like, I bet. Which
Yeah,
was a thing that they could have easily done, like to create a conflict, because all movies have conflict. But this already had one, so they didn't need to like add to it. Of
yeah,
like that girl getting in the way and like at one point making it look like Jason's in love with her, but he's not. You know, like she
yeah,
tries to kiss him and like Jesse sees or whatever. Like
yeah,
didn't have to do that. Good. It was beautiful. Because like any other movie, they would have been like, "Oh, zoinks! Like I wasn't even with her. It doesn't mean anything." And then
yeah.
she has to do the runaway, and
Oh.
then like she would have been caught by the bad guy at that moment. But they didn't do that, and that was what's nice.
Yeah, they didn't try and add more than what they had.
Yeah.
Like they
Keep the
had something
story
solid. It was a solid
focused.
story, and it was focused.
She does that sick Fast and the Furious Tokyo drift underneath that semi, dude.
I know.
It's like, hey, stunt driver does a good job. And now she somehow makes it back, and he's like, man, she's got a good sense of direction.
Yeah, it's like
And
the
that
car's
cop's
marked
like
it.
writing that little car a ticket and everything. Like, once again, cartoony that a
Yeah.
ticket person's like putting a ticket on that. And this was the part I was going to talk about. So she's had this furniture delivered to the house all day, meaning that her mom had to answer the door for them. And she's upstairs watching all those dating services, and she's like, "Oh, your mom gave me all these people's lives." So then the mom saw her, right?
Yeah.
So then why is she like, when they come downstairs and she's a mannequin, she's like, "Oh, he's in love with the mannequin." I'm like, "But you saw her
I
earlier."
know, that's what I
But
was
maybe
thinking. I'm
that's why
like,
she like helps him out later. I don't know. They didn't really go into detail about that, but like, I feel like you saw her if you're gonna be like, "Here, watch these tapes" or something. Like,
yeah. I'm like, cause like when she says stuff, I feel like it's pretty literal.
yeah,
Your
she, yeah,
mom
she
gave
doesn't
me
know.
these. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, well then your mom talked to her.
yeah. And you've been answering the door for furniture, and you're like, okay, I guess go put it in his room upstairs. This definitely looks like a bad Jason to want with the fucking like
Yeah,
four
with like,
posts and like the curtains
yeah,
around it. So they're packing up and leaving. Are they gonna like Hollywood's driving to the house? He's like, the law's here. I like when he goes downstairs and apparently you don't need a warrant. The cops are like, he's like, search the place, and the cops just come in. I'm like, okay, that's
yeah.
fine.
That's what I thought too, and I'm like, no warrant. Also, some
Yeah,
foreign guy
yeah,
is telling the American cops to search the place.
yeah. And I like when he goes upstairs and she's packing the popcorn into the bag.
Yeah,
She just like dumps that whole bowl in there. It's like nice priorities, you know.
yeah.
Gotta pack the popcorn. He's got the magic necklace.
And then he like has to be a creep about it. He's all
Yeah.
creepy up there. Ugh.
Which like, how old is he?
Well, obviously, like older than 1,000.
Well, like, is he or is he? I think he's like the descendant though. He's like,
Oh
'cause
yeah,
my
because
great,
he
great,
talks about
great, great,
yeah,
great, 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 great grandfather. But like, is he like in his 40s or his 30s?
he doesn't look like he's in his 30s to me. He looks older than
He looks
that.
older, and like
Like at least pushing for like maybe
she's probably like 17, 18. But I guess, hey, in his mind, she's 1,000 years old.
yeah.
Good to go. Been waiting. My whole family of ancestors have been
Yeah, they've
waiting to
been
just get a hold of this fucking mannequin lady
yeah.
and lift that curse.
You know, they're like, "Oh man, I am so envious of my great 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 grandson."
Ooh, man,
Ooh
if I could just
boy.
be him. Whoo-wee.
In his 40s because he's going to have to wait that long, at least in his
And
40s.
which makes me think that that whole family has to tell the story of
Yeah.
like, oh, your great great grandfather helped put a curse on this mannequin that your ancestors, your future seed will try to
And
bang
still
and
by the
lift that
fucking
curse.
90s, they all
Yes,
still believed that curse was a real thing.
you know.
And they all just apparently worked for the queen. They're like all
Yeah,
indentured to the queen for life or what? Like I don't understand. Well,
we'll
he's just
help.
like a sorcerer, so are they
Yeah,
all like sorcerers in
I don't know
descent
if
or
he. I mean, he doesn't like practice magic or anything,
yeah.
other than he has like the necklace. But like, yeah, does he have powers or is it just like once again? You
I'm
just don't
assuming
even
in the
know.
Bernie verse he's got powers.
Oh, I yeah. Maybe he has untapped powers he wasn't aware of, or his
Yeah.
power
And
is he
maybe
can throw pots right at people's balls from like
yeah,
3 stories up.
somehow have a like a crossbow.
It's a department store. That was
Well,
like
yeah,
the
that's true.
first one when they were like camping and banging in the tent, and then they were doing like skiing and
There was a
banging on the skis or some shit like that. Like I don't know. I just remember a lot of banging in different places in the first one. Like if you get anything from Mannequin One, people, it's just guy banging Kim Cattrall.
banging
So.
yeah, banging a mannequin and getting caught in the act.
Oh, whoopsies. And then this is when Hollywood dresses like the Marine guy, like Butch. What is his name? Butch Montrose.
To break him out
And
of jail.
yeah, and I like how he's like trying to be manly, but he keeps like doing the hands thing. And he's like, when he's like, he's gonna be, what is it called? He's like, oh, you mean AWOL? That's it.
Yep.
He's like, you got a name? Yeah, it's Butch. It's Butch Montrose. He's like, not your name, the the prisoner's name. I was like, oh. And when they're walking away, and he goes, "Hey," and he's like, "Ah," and he does that like scream and turn around, like it's so fucking like goofy, comical, and the
I
fact that
know.
like Jason just knows immediately to go with it, and he sees him in like that fucking gear. I was like, nice.
I'm glad that he did that. I was like, wait, I was worried that he was gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
Hollywood, what are you doing? He's just like,
But then
yes,
they
this
start
is my commanding officer.
but then they start talking like super loud on the way out the door. I'm like, "Shh.
Yeah, do you think this is gonna work? And it's like,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know."
Let's find out. Hopefully, they don't find out I'm faking being an army officer.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't find out this guy right here that I'm walking next to is totally faking it.
Yeah.
Not really in the army.
Yep. And then just walk away.
But
Because
then
I thought,
somehow when they're farther down the hall, then he's
all
like,
right, wait
"Wait
a
a
minute.
minute."
I think like I don't know if it's a joke that they did and they skipped on, or that it was like a missed opportunity. But when he goes to do the signature, it'd have been great if he signed it Hollywood
Right.
instead of like Butch Montrose. Like maybe like that would have been the reason the cops like, hey, wait a minute, just like him going Hollywood. That's like what I thought was gonna happen.
Which would have been awesome and still
Yeah,
cartoony and would have fit with the movie.
yeah, exactly. It's like Hollywood. Yeah, that would have been. But hey,
Whatever. They somehow knew when they were farther down the hallway,
yeah.
and the cop that was right there next to him with
Hey,
perfect
wait a
chance
minute.
to
I
grab
can't
them,
stop
just
him.
like,
What?
what? Why are they running? Why is that
Yeah.
other guy yelling at him?
The goofy, doofy law enforcement of 90s comedy movies.
And now they're in more trouble because he just broke him out of jail.
Yeah. Which they never have, like, repercussions from that. The jail's like, all right, they got far enough away. It's like Grand Theft Auto. They got far enough out of the radar. The stars went away, and the cops are like, can't find him.
Yeah, wonder where
He's
they
done.
went. Oh well, they'll commit another crime. I'll find him
Yeah.
then.
Oh, well. But he sneaks into the big gala, whatever thing you want to say for the peasant girl. And he's got like that afro on, and for some reason like a Jamaican accent or something. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what he was doing.
I was like, what's with the, whatever, dude. You're
Yeah,
sneaking in. I
I
get
don't know,
it.
man. I just work here. It's fucking afro. But then yeah, their mom's helping him out. His mom helps him break out because she's driving
Yeah,
Hollywood's car.
yeah.
Like no son of mine's gonna be locked in jail. So like, did Hollywood explain it to her, and she's like instantly believe you because
I'm
he's like,
like,
hey,
all
I've
right.
been through this before. I'm always stuck with the bat, not you. Like, and it's like, let me explain. She's real. Let's go bust out your
Like,
son. And
also,
she's like,
didn't you meet her?
that girl that came in, you gave the tapes to, that was her.
That's
It's like, oh, that's why they were dressed alike.
yeah.
Oh, and that's why we couldn't find her in the house after they left. And how the mom like swoons and faints from the count like kissing her hand.
I know.
Like
I'm like,
this guy?
really?
That mole was like a dead like an instant like.
Like I feel like a lot of people would be turned off by that. Like
Yeah.
pretty quick, actually.
I'm not saying the Burn Man is unattractive, but they purposely made him creepy and like, unattractive for this
And
movie.
then the mom
Which
is
let's
like swooning.
I want to talk about him. He is a great villain in this movie because like the henchman went cartoony and then
Hmm.
he went cartoony, but not like the typical over the top villain that you would see. Like it was just like different and like silly and like I don't know why he was a fucking good
He
villain
just
in this
yeah, he
one.
had like it's like okay, so there's shows and movies and there's a specific villain in the movie or the show and you're like, "Oh, they're, it's them." And like
Hmm.
you know instantly who you're talking about. He's one of those. He's got like a style of
Yeah.
villain, if you will. Like, the bad guy, he played the bad guy in Mannequin 2 and you're like right there. You're like, "Oh
I know who you're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah."
The Burn Man, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a good villain. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
He does a good job of playing a goofy villain
Goofy villain.
where it's serious, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. I don't know how to
Yeah.
describe it.
It's weird, yeah, cuz like it
'Cause-
like he thinks he's serious and cool, but is still like eccentric and over the top, So like I
Yeah,
don't
and
know,
like
it's hard to
lame at
describe.
the same
Yeah.
time. Like he's like the character that you're like, oh, you're so lame. You're so lame.
Which
And
is
that
funny
it's
cuz like
great. I love how yeah,
he knows that he's from like a lame country and that's why he like is trying to leave for Bermuda.
yeah,
But it's still like you're lame, dude. And he's like,
yeah.
I'm trying not to be though. Like, or
But I'm
don't you think
also,
I'm
but I also
cool?
can't help myself from not being a total dickhead.
Yeah, just the way we are in that country. Oh,
Just one
that
of those
part.
kind of villains.
Yeah, how they keep like mispronouncing his last name, like Strudel, and it's like
Yeah,
Streusel. But when like the department store is like a call for Mister Streusel, pick up any white phone and goes Strudel, and they're like Strudel, and it's like thank you. Like I don't know why that was great because it's like how did they hear him? Like it was
again, another
goofy.
another one of those like cartoony, goofy
Yeah,
things.
which I'm glad they went more lighthearted with this one and less let's bang a mannequin. It's like, yes, she's beautiful, but we're not going to concentrate on the gross aspect of it. Let's
Yeah,
concentrate on the love story and trying to save her thing.
yeah, and make it
Good
more of a
prince.
cartoony, fun movie to
Yeah.
watch.
Because when you think about it, it's a cartoony idea,
Yeah, it's
Like a
goofy.
mannequin comes to life. She's got a curse on her in the first one, and it's like a Toy Story. If anybody else sees her, she turns to,
Yeah,
a mannequin. But at least in this one, it's like if she wears the necklace,
she's a mannequin. If she's not wearing it, everybody can see her.
yeah, exactly. She can walk around, charge a bunch of stuff on his account, which he's gonna have to deal with that shit later. But hey,
Yeah,
the boss will love him after that. He's
yeah.
like, you can return it. It's fine. That whole like thing that Hollywood does, where it's like starts out the dancing and then suddenly like those people come up and they have like dance gear on. Like, how'd they change it with just like
I know.
bowing back? And then he starts like rapping and singing, and then where the fuck did he get a UFO from?
That's what I
Did
was
they
wondering.
make that? Because that thing is huge, and it even like opens up and lowers
I
her
know. I'm like,
down. I'm
man,
like,
the production is crazy. And also, what room is this in the?
how does this
Like
like
this,
weird Macy's
this.
have a hall?
Yeah, it's got like an auditorium. You
Yeah,
can set up a big like event. There's got a stage and apparently enough room for like a giant UFO to
yeah,
come
and that's
flying over.
not only like lengthwise, but also like I guess width. I don't know how
Yeah,
you do it
I
in
mean,
3D.
yeah,
I'm not
and
smart people like,
like big enough
but
to hold
height
the mannequin.
and lower it down.
Yeah,
So it's like how much is going up into like the third story? Like how tall is this auditorium? What was the budget?
I know.
And how did Hollywood get that down so fast? Unless he already had it planned before, they came in. But
I
he's
think
like,
it
I'm
might
gonna need to
have.
build a UFO.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna need a UFO for this performance.
Are you sure, Hollywood? That's gonna be a lot of money. It's just, does it have to be a
It
UFO?
really
Can
did
it
though. I
just,
mean, we saw it and it was cool. Big
yeah,
UFO comes flying. It's all like it's all 90s.
yeah, opens up like does that cool like like Independence Day
Yeah.
opening, and then they're like, "Hello, boys, I'm back." They fly a jet up in there, and boom! Now we know
Boom.
how to beat them.
Hmm. All he had to do was
Then we get
sacrifice himself. Well,
That's right.
okay. Before I go any farther, did he have to do that? Did he have to
No.
sacrifice himself because they
I
uploaded
think,
the fucking virus?
yeah. And I think it's just because he didn't have any missiles. But, like, did anybody else have any? Like, I'm sure the president still had any.
Yeah.
It's like, can anybody else come up here? Like, why is he the only one that has to go in and sacrifice himself? And then they say, we know how to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that one pilot from each country has to go sacrifice
Yeah.
themselves? Or can they just throw a missile up there? And it's like, nope, that's the only way. You
have to send
crash a plane into that. Let's draw straws. Like, you're going to be a hero like Randy Quaid.
Yeah.
Your dad was a great man. I know.
What was he though? Was he?
Russell! Russell! Whoa. I'm like Keanu, but not even as cool.
He's a great value.
Yeah.
Keanu.
He fucking wishes.
Oh my god. Okay,
I
I'm
was
sorry
in Donnie Darko and Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm sorry I veered off of that, but I've thought on that and thought just like, dude, he didn't have to die because I'm pretty sure the virus was uploaded before you flew yourself into that thing.
Well, the virus brought down the shields.
But then they had the shields, didn't they?
The ships?
Like, didn't the like? No. Yeah, it brought down the
It just
shields.
brought-
So like, why again? He'd still.
They could have flown. I mean, I'm sure there was no other jets, and his were jammed. I think his were jammed. He's like, "Tell my kids I love them," and it's like, we can get someone else over there. Nope, I gotta do this.
Yeah, I'll just kill myself.
Yeah, sir, we've got 3 pilots ready to go.
Yeah,
Nope,
they've all got missiles.
I gotta do this. Fucking, you do anything for Bill Pullman, you know?
Yeah.
I would.
Especially if he's your president.
Yeah, Bill Pullman for president. Now that I could get behind. That's a man I could get behind.
Well, I mean, we know he can take down some aliens if he needs to.
Mm-hmm. And he flew a jet.
Yeah.
That is why Bill Pullman's the best president. He didn't send other people up there. He's like, I'm gonna fucking go too.
Yeah, I'm going too. I can fly a jet too.
That's a president.
Yeah. So I just assumed that he was probably a military man.
Maybe he's just winging it. He's
He's
like,
just
I've never
winging it. He's
flown
like,
before,
but you know what? I'm going to be up there with my boys. This is my country.
I've played Microsoft Flight Simulator on my Gateway 98 so many times. Even though I think this movie came out in like 96, I got early access to it because I'm a fucking president. You know? So,
I got a sweet
President,
system.
we have this new game. It's called Flight Simulator.
It's from the year
Tell me
2000.
more.
We've really veered off of the.
Well, yeah, sorry, we got Independence Day. None of that will make the episode, but hey, Independence Day is a great movie.
It is.
So he comes swinging down because they're doing the story. The Count jumps up on stage, and then they have a sword fight. And
Where did the Count get a sword?
he had one on him because it was like a ceremonial guard. You know, he was like dressed up and he had the sword on him. But I like how they both fumble getting them out.
Yeah.
And once again, great villain of like not being able to and just like flinging it.
Yeah.
And just being like that was like.
I like how they
just went with it.
both know how to do flips too.
Yeah. Like I was thinking too, like
They-
Jason does that cool side flip and
Yeah.
then he does that perfect like front flip
I'm like,
and
whoa,
lands it. Touche.
they're very agile. I didn't realize.
Like Jason says, like I come from a long line of fencers. I have Bavarian blood in me. So I was like, I guess
Like,
that
well,
means
yeah,
you just know how.
it's it's genetics. It's in your blood.
Mm-hmm. When you're a fencer, you're a fencer.
Yeah.
Apparently, you just suddenly know how to do a
Yeah,
cool side flip.
if
You're
someone
like,
hands
"Whoa."
you a sword,
Got it.
yeah,
Has to be a really thin sword though.
yeah, anything bigger than that, you're like, well, this isn't from the time era that like
this
my
is too
family fought
heavy.
with these, so no, I need
Yeah.
something a bit lighter, thank you.
They're specifically fencers, not swordsmen. Thank you.
Swordsman.
Swordsman. I like when he pulls out the gun. He's like, "Hey, that's not fair." And I was like, "It's typical." Like,
Man,
villain
and he
too.
starts like just.
Dude, let
just-
him off
yeah.
shots.
I was surprised that
He shoots.
the
Yeah.
boss guy. Like I was surprised that he shot him. I was like, oh my
Just
god.
like zero hesitation, zero regard. It's like,
Yeah, and I'm like,
bam. I was
okay,
oh shit, he's
man.
not fucking around.
That's some villain shit right there.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, I can respect that. Normally they just kind of wave their gun around for a while. You know, he gets to
I'll do
business.
it.
He whips it out and he starts shooting.
Bam! Like someone will
Starts
shut up and
blasting.
just like, yeah. Go in there and I'm blasting. Like, and then on the roof when they're in the hot air balloon, he just starts unloading towards
Yeah.
them. I was like, no fucking. I mean, that's a villain. No hesitation, zero regard for human life.
And it
You're
was
trying to get this lady your family's been waiting thousands of years for.
I
Or I guess a
I
thousand.
liked that. I liked that he didn't like sit there and explain like, and then I will fly away in this balloon
Just
and
let
I'm
me
gonna
just go.
slowly take her away and I'll use her as a human shield, but I'm not gonna shoot the gun at anybody. And like,
Yeah.
no, he means business.
Bam, bam,
Bam.
bam, bam, bam. Yeah. Shoots a guy in a foot.
Yeah.
And then, the assistant's writing down what he says or whatever. I don't remember the rhyme he said for like call him an ambulance or
Yeah.
whatever. But I like when he's like, we're gonna have to take the stairs, and Hollywood's like, do we have to? And when they block off the door and they can't get it, and Hollywood's like, oh, dance. I was like, don't worry, I've got dancer legs or whatever, and just like bam,
Kicks the
like,
door
kicks it down. Which like that's another moment they could have gone with that go-to typical comedy where he would have like kicked the door and fallen back and like
Yeah.
going, oh. But like having Hollywood be like a badass, like, no, I got it.
Yeah, that
Just
was
like,
cool.
boom,
I was happy.
door fucking
Like I was
flies
happy
open.
when the door just like blew apart and it was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, damn.
Because it makes Hollywood a badass. Because like he's fucking cool.
Hollywood, it was a badass and is a badass.
Yeah.
Like he got to be in the second movie too, and
Yeah.
he was way more featured, like we wanted, and it was awesome.
It's like the directors and writers took notes from that. They're like, okay, less banging, more Hollywood. Got it.
All right.
And then they delivered, and I was like, thank you.
Maybe one of the times that maybe the writers listened to the fans. Mm-hmm. Like we got a big reaction out of Hollywood.
If writers don't listen to fans for Star Wars or any other big movie, but you know who did? Mannequin.
Mannequin 2.
Mannequin writers. Mannequin on the Move. They listened to the audience and they delivered a sequel. Because all sequels, you gotta like kind of go with what the first one did, certain things, but then expand on it and build on it, and make it better.
Yeah.
And they did. They're like, you know what? Let's do it. Instead of just making the exact same movie, it's like, yes, parts are the same, but let's make it funnier.
Yeah, and more slapstick and more cartoony and like off the wall with like henchmen and like chase scenes and stuff.
Because I
Although
like
I think there were chase scenes in the first one, but
Yeah,
everything
and I
has
think-
a lot more of a serious tone to it.
Yeah, there was more of a grittier, grounded in reality. Because I
Yeah.
think in the first one, she's going to go in like the shredder
Yeah,
that the basement has. Like I expected those, like, I forgot what those aliens were called, but in like on Bespin, when like
those, like,
Chewie
gross,
goes in
like,
there
pig
and those
alien
like little
things?
guard,
Yeah.
like I was expecting that because it was like the conveyor belt, like that
Yeah.
that store probably had those. Sorry, Star Wars fans, I don't know all the alien species, but like yeah, that one was like more grounded in reality, like it was comedy, but like I don't know. But this one was like just. Because, like, the henchman, like, what about a helicopter? He's like, I thought a hot air balloon would be more romantic. And it's like, all right. And when they were trying hats on, and then he, like, like, goofy fucking outfits. And I loved how they delivered the news that she's gone. They, like, put that note in the glass
Yeah.
and, slid it over to him.
And that's like another one of those like things where I feel like Beer Fest like kind of ripped them off. And I really,
Yeah.
anybody know? The guys from Beer Fest, are you watching this? Probably not. But
Like,
if you did,
were you like, oh, the
we don't have
Germans and
to.
Mannequin.
We don't have to call it a ripoff. It'd be an
it's a paying
homage. It was cool.
homage.
It was cool
Yeah,
and
exactly.
funny. So if that's true, if anybody knows,
Good going, because you nailed it. Because I love these guys.
great.
Because I just like the grandpapa.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I was expecting.
I know. I was just waiting
Yeah.
for something like that because that's what they
What is
came
this,
off.
Monopoly money,
So yeah, they're in the hot air balloon. It's just them.
And like Jason just like fucking climbs that rope
Yeah.
for love, Like I would have slid down, but I guess you get good motivation. She's the love of your life. It's Christy Swanson. I would have,
Yeah.
I would have done the same. Suddenly, I would have the greatest upper arm strength I've
And
ever
you
had.
wouldn't even use your legs. You'd just be like, yeah.
I'm coming for you, Count. And just like, yeah.
And I loved his like when he's like holding him over the edge.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And he pulls him over the thing, and I would have probably been the same way. And he's like, oh well, I can. I'm gonna throw your ass over the edge.
Because once again, I think Jason was like, wait a minute, this would be murder.
Yeah.
Let me think about this. I already dodged the police and am an escaped convict in a sense. Probably shouldn't throw murder on that.
Yeah.
But I like the count's like, oh, I am, or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not murder if it's a mannequin. Because, she puts the necklace on him, does the 1,000 years thing. He falls over and just shatters.
Shat. I'm wondering, okay, so what if he fell down there and shattered and then the necklace fell off?
Well, I think he had to wait 1,000 years. I don't think they could take it off. Because, like, in the
Oh, that's
original
right. That's right.
thing, the prince tries to take it off and it shocks him. So those
So-
guys would just like, yeah,
It's
if
gonna
they
suck.
did, and he's just like, "Gah," and there's like pieces of blood just shows up everywhere. Like I just imagine like
Because he's
suddenly
like
brain,
split in half, like his legs are like away from him.
yeah, his head's like all crushed,
And it's funny because he ends up in a museum or whatever,
Yeah, think back at the castle.
and I'm thinking, so once that 1,000 years, if someone takes that off, he's just gonna be a gross, bloody mess, just like
Yeah.
fall apart, like
Yeah,
pain for a few
gonna be
seconds, just like the grossest like guy just.
kill me. Or he's gonna look like Sloth from like the Goonies, or like is it gonna be like one of the alien from The Thing? Like what's
Well,
he
yeah,
gonna
because
be
they do
working
sort
with?
of a close up of his face. It looks all glued
got-
together.
His like ears all hanging off,
Yeah.
like it's weird. But I like how the street sweeper just picks it up, and
I
of course
know.
the goofy henchman of like, if we find him true love before 1,000 years, then we could go to Bermuda, and that's like the only thing
Yeah.
they care about is going to Bermuda. Like, you found some good henchmen though, dude. They're dedicated. They're willing to save you.
Like they're very obviously capable of like doing things, but they're so
They're strong
stupid
as
that
fuck,
they're
yeah.
like that they need someone to tell them what to do. Like
Yeah, it's not murder if it's a dummy, folks.
yeah.
Turn a man into a mannequin, throw him off a hot air balloon, and he shatters. You're good to
You're
go.
good to go.
He's not real.
Plus, you're not going
And
to be
if-
around 1,000 years later once the necklace can come off. So even if
Yeah.
like they could pin it on you, you're going to be dead anyway. So
Yeah.
Snow.
And if you need a hot air balloon, call up Ryan's uncle. He'll hook you up with a hot air balloon.
Yeah, it's really
I for-
romantic.
It really is. So the henchman was right. It's a really romantic ride. I've never
Yeah.
personally been in a hot air balloon.
Me neither.
I'm a little too terrified of heights to do that. But if it's romantic,
Yeah, I would take my mannequin up there
yeah,
any day.
any day of the week. Call up Jeff. Jeff, give me one balloon, please. I got my
Yeah,
mannequin.
I
I'm
need-
looking for a romantic ride.
Yeah, I'm looking for a romantic getaway to
Mm-hmm.
the sky. Whisk me away with my mannequin.
Yeah.
This isn't
And then
going to
the
be
whole
murder because
time-
I'm going to toss it right out as soon as we get
The
to
whole
it.
time, like, oh, I just imagine like you or me with like the female mannequin. But then of course like, Jeff has to be there to pilot it, so it's like you're all talking romantically to your mannequin and he's just like, okay, I still gotta pilot this thing, and you're like,
Oh,
trying
Jeff,
to
did I
kiss it.
introduce you?
This is Jessie. She is the love of my life. And he's like,
Well, see, what's even more awkward to the people that don't know who we're talking about is this is a person that we know and have
This
met.
is yeah.
So, they'd be like, "Well, I had no idea, Ryan, that your friends were
I already
strange.
didn't like your friends to begin with. I really don't.
Strange, and they keep wanting to take hot air balloon rides
And they
with
keep
me.
bringing a mannequin with them, and I'm afraid to ask questions, so I don't.
Well, it'd be funny is if Ryan was in on it and be like, "What are you talking about?" and send like a picture
Yeah.
of him sitting next to a mannequin.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Or it's us sitting next to like a real person,
Yeah,
and so we just
like
gaslight
you
Jeff
mean
into
you mean
thinking-
these women?
Yeah, just gaslight Jeff into thinking that they were mannequins when they were real people all along. Sorry, Jeff, this is gonna happen.
Yeah,
He's not watching the show.
he does.
And if you do, hey man, thanks for being a
Wow,
fan.
thank you.
And how do they get down? Get down. How do they get down from the balloon? Like,
That's what I was
'Cause
wondering. Well, I mean,
you got
no,
to pilot through the city now. You're gonna crash into a building. Like,
maybe
I know
they
eventually.
they Joe Dirt it. They hit something. They just go falling out.
And then they start their new life wherever they land.
Yeah.
So they're crashing into a Philadelphia skyscraper. What am I, 4 years old?
Scry-
Skyscraper.
Look at the skyscraper.
Skyscraper. Oh, a skyscraper. Just let it fall down magically,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, eventually it's going to come down.
Yeah. The police are like, okay, since you two are in love and she's real, Go ahead, get out of here.
Yeah, I guess since you didn't just break out of prison and lie to a police officer to do it and impersonate
Yeah,
like someone in the military.
cause a
Like,
bunch of destruction in a store. Hey, you saved the day. You threw a mannequin off of a thing and he shattered. Oh well, it wasn't a real person anyway. You guys are in love. Get going.
yeah, and how do they like explain that? All the people that saw all this.
It was this part of the show
Oh,
because they
okay.
were like, "Oh wow, yeah," it was like dramatic for them. That was very well played.
Until the gun
Mannequin
came
on the
out.
move. Yeah, and they're probably still like, "Oh, it's probably like fake," and then it's like,
But
"Nope,
let's just
that is."
run just in case. Let's
Yeah,
because that guy looks
it's
like
like
he's in some pain. Like got shot.
yeah, like
He got
once the real
shot. I don't
bullets,
know.
yeah, once the real bullets, like, oh, this isn't an act anymore. Oh no 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 no, we gotta go.
Well, maybe it's because and then like they all saw the guy and then he shatters. So it's like
Yeah,
how are they explaining that? How are the cops explaining that? How do you put that
I
in a
think
report?
I think they just don't because that's a lot of paperwork, and they're just like, I don't want to try to explain to my boss that like, look, the dude was alive, he fell out of a balloon, and suddenly he was wood. And like, what are you talking about? And it's like, you know what?
Like
Let's sweep
here,
it under the
I
rug. This never happened.
yeah, the
Like,
guy never came from his country. What do you do with
who are you talking about?
those three dummies that can't take care of themselves are like
Yeah,
now lost in Chicago
yeah,
and they're gonna die, dude. Those guys need a lot of protein.
yeah. And they don't have green cards either, dude. Or maybe they do. I don't know how well they're taken care of in their
Well,
country. They probably got passports.
it's the Burniverse, so
They've got
things
diplomatic
things
immunity
things operate differently.
in the Burniverse.
Yeah.
That's true.
Uh oh. Looks like Dylan here has become a mannequin. Oh no. I think maybe the only thing that might turn him back is if you go to the Project Nerd website and you check out all the nerdy stuff that we've got going on over there. That's project-nerd.com. And that's where you're going to find all that cool stuff. Normally Dylan's not a mannequin and helps me with this plug, so please go and check out Project Nerd so we can turn him back and finish recording this season of Two Guys, One Film.
What would you give
Mannequin
Mannequin on the Move?
on the Move. My rating, I'm going to give it 8.5 Hollywoods out of 10 because this movie was fun and it was crazy and silly and cartoony, and I don't want to say better than the first Mannequin. It's different though, but
It's
it
like
fits.
apples and oranges.
Yeah, it fits in the universe,
And the
like
Burniverse.
in the Burniverse. That it's like it flows nicely because they didn't try and be like, oh, it's like another Egyptian princess that got thrown through time, and then we'll just do it all over again. No, it's something completely different. It's a necklace that turns you into a mannequin, and you either need to fall in love or wait 1,000 years, take it off. And it's a cool story, and again, it's goofy, and it got more like we wanted more Hollywood, got more Hollywood, like 10 times more Hollywood, and he was funny, and it was this was just a fun movie, and as far as I'm concerned, like not a guilty pleasure because I mean if this is on, I'll watch it. If someone's
Oh,
like,
hell
hey, you
yeah.
want to watch Mannequin on the Move? Yeah,
Goddamn right.
hell yeah, I do.
Let's see what I would give this movie. It is a good nostalgic movie for me. Loved it. Fucking fun. It doesn't take itself seriously. It knows what it is. It's a great premise. Like you said, does a great job with it. It's not better than the original, but I'm not saying like you can't compare it. I mean, it might be a little bit better because it's less creepy and like. But for me, I will have to give it 9 Hollywoods out of 10, just because it's a fucking fun movie. People, go watch it. You're gonna like it. I guarantee it.
You'll like it.
It's just a goof. It's a goof movie. It's a great premise, and they ran with it well.
Yeah.
You know?
They didn't overcomplicate anything. There was stuff that could have been done, and I think that I think you and I are pretty used to like people like them like
Yeah.
just directors or writers trying to add a lot more shit that they need to, and not just kind of stick with a cohesive story like this was, be it like
Yeah.
just goofy and fun, you know?
Yeah. It's just then they're like you could have taken it too far so many ways, but they didn't. Held back, held the premise just spot on, and you fucking nailed it. And all the other reviews online for giving it low, fuck you.
Seriously.
This is a terrific movie. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't listen to those critics. Don't look at those reviews. Only ours. Only watch us.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only critics you need to listen to.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Melody, for this suggestion. Not a guilty pleasure. Great movie. That was Mannequin on the Move. And for Two Guys One Film, I'm Dylan.
And Dane.
And hopefully we aren't mannequins the next episode.
Well, I won't be.
But I might be. So go to the fucking Project Nerd website.
Yeah.